Oh man. Oh man. God morgon allesammans och välkomna tillbaka till Irosekai. Jag har inte mycket att säga idag. Förra gången så fick vi ganska mycket exposition om både det ena och det andra. Och ja, det var typ det som hände. Nu befinner vi oss i vårt kök, ser det ut som. Får vi se vad som händer. Jag tror att vi är nära chapter 4, men jag är inte helt säker då jag inte har spelat där förut. Eller läst där förut. Läst den här wish novelen. Men, vi hoppar rätt in. Välkomna. Man. Why? Why did things turn out this way? I can't help but think that maybe I jumped the gun a bit. Kana-san? I gingerly walk up and address Kana, who's currently in front of the kitchen sink, absorbed in the task she's doing. Can we talk for a bit? She turns around, the faucet's still running. Well, feeling a bit restless, I turn the faucet off as I continue. And then I turn it back on, and then back off. And now, I'm turned on. I don't necessarily think you need to start your work right today.
そんなわけにはいきませんよ。私は少しでも早く目標を達成させなくてはいけないので。
Well, yeah, but I guess I don't see any need for you to rush it.
思い立ったら吉日と言いますよね。その吉日というのが今まさにこの瞬間なんです。私にとっては。それに命短し恋せよと。
Nu tappade jag helt bort vad du pratar om. Make hay while the sun shines. Sun is shining brightest. If you don't like that, there's also another saying, gather your rosebuds while you may. Oh yeah. Whatever. Okay. I nod along. But in all truthfulness, none of what she has said made any sense to me. Although, I can hardly find fault with her when she's brimming with enthusiasm. To summarize the current situation, I'm worried. This girl is very, very scatterbrained, and said the scatterbrain is currently washing plates. So I can't help but fear the possibility that her clumsiness will leave her every single piece of tableware we have in broken fragments. Okej, det är allt du bryr dig om. Inte att hennes händer kanske... Att hon skadar händerna.
この私にドーンとお任せしていただければなと思いまして。
Jag vet inte vad det är för... Vad det är för ansiktsuttryck hon gör. No, you don't have to cook. Ja just det, vi fick ju smaka hennes mat förut, den var ingen god. Eller hur? Please.
そんなわけにはいきません。いつもユーマさんにお世話になってしまうのはよろしくありませんから。それに
She blushes slightly and puts her hands on her cheeks.
ユーマさんも先日のお弁当美味しいって言ってくれましたし。
Jag har en liten festis här. Typ Capri-Sun. Jag ska försöka öppna. I place my hands firmly on her shoulders. Juma-san! You do not have to cook. I can't see my own eyes, but I can only imagine how tragically dead and devoid of color they looked as I said that.
そうですか?
Men du kan ju lägga fram det på ett annat sätt liksom. Du gör redan så mycket. Du behöver inte göra. Du måste vila också. Nu är det mer bara... nej, det gör du inte. Du ska göra allting, men du ska inte göra det. I'm experiencing this rather odd feeling right now. It's like my brain circuits are shooting out sparks. I don't know what it's called, but I love it. The vestige of that gut-wrenching taste still remain in my mind. It was so putrid it seared itself into my brain cells and taste buds. Merely recalling it causes my brain to feel like it's being disintegrated by some deadly acid. I'm being disintegrated. Åh nej! Råkade det ett hål på fel sida? Varför är den blöt på baksidan? Det är det krångligaste. Alltså jag tycker Capri-Sun är jättegott, men det är så himla krångligt att dricka. Det är så här, gör bara en flaska eller en burk som alla normala människor. Just to illustrate how severely traumatizing the taste was. Look, today was pretty hectic and all. Aren't you tired? It's technically only because of a certain promise we exchanged, but still, I'm genuinely delighted that she's offered to help with the chores. But, and I know I'm basically repeating myself at this point, I just can't see Kana being skilled with her hands. The thought of her injuring herself from broken glass fills me with dread. The anxiety is just too much. I can't stand still. Okej, så nu ska det vara liksom sentimental igen. Eller emotionell. Det liksom tidigare har det bara varit helt död. Han skiftar väldigt mycket fram och tillbaka. Ena sekunden så bryr han sig om, men den andra sekunden så hatar han henne. I wasn't worried about potentially being forced to use Shinko's power to heal that injury. I just feel a bit squeamish seeing others bleeding and in pain, and I think that's only natural. You had a busy day today. Just let me handle the rest. You can go relax. I know you're eager to get to it, but you can take a day off before starting. Dessutom är det hans jobb. Han bor väl inte ens här. Eller jo, det kanske han gör, men det är i alla fall hans jobb att hålla på med det där.
そうですね。ありがとうございます。
は？
ユーマさんの気持ちはすごく嬉しいですけど、
förlåt.
でも先ほども言いましたように、私は1日でも早く、1分1秒でも早く目標を達成できるようにしたいんです。
After saying that, she resumes washing the plates. You want to reach it as fast as possible? Makes no sense. Ja, jag antar att hon får... jag vet inte.
はい、そうです。そういう約束ですから。私、ユーマさんに助けてもらうために頑張りますから。
Jag tror inte direkt hon får betalt det där heller. A promise. Kana and I have exchanged a new promise. As I gaze at the earnest expression on her face, I recall our conversation from less than half an hour ago. It occurred immediately following Suzusan and Shigeru-san's explanation to her regarding our work as liberators. Huh?
ユーマさん。
Suzusan and Shigeru-san had already left the dining room, and Kana broke the silence.
私なりに今教えていただいたお話をまとめてみようと思ったんですけど、聞いていただけますか?
Ska du summarisera? Summera allting som du har lärt dig i ditt huvud. Det är lite så här. Du sätter det skrivet på för att låta som det. Du ska summera allting inuti ditt huvud liksom. Så du kommer inte berätta för mig, utan du ska bara stå där och... Ja, jag vet inte. I answer a question with a wordless nod.
まず、どうして私にこのお仕事の内容を教えてくれたんですか?
Det undrade jag med faktiskt. Why, you ask?
私の方からお仕事の内容を聞いておいてとは私も思いますが、それでも全くの部外者で無関係な私にやすやすと教えてしまっても大丈夫なお話だったのかなって、そんな。
I guess I'll be frank with you.
正直に
I've actually been a bit wary of you from the onset of things. Simply put, I didn't trust you.
警戒心を
You saw it firsthand. Our work is far from ordinary. In addition to that, we have a distinction between jobs over here and jobs over there. What you witnessed today was a job request from over there. Our enemy in those cases isn't another human. It's a natural phenomenon. Recklessly absurd, I know. All of our job requests over here, though, do involve humans. With those, we deal with situations where one party is inflicting harm upon a second party with blatantly malicious motives. We receive requests from the victimized parties and work to restore things. That's Suzusan's primary source of income. We've come into contact with an incredibly wide variety of different people over the course of things, and, quite frankly, there are probably a fair amount of people out there who harbor significant animosity toward us as a result.
恨みを
Right. It's par for the course in our lines of work. Nothing we can do about it. People who seek to do evil will naturally despise people who seek to prevent evil from being done. So the reason I was initially wary of you was, well, basically because I figured you might be in cahoots with some group or individual we pissed off at some point in time.
私は
Huh?
信じてもらえないかもしれませんが、私がユーマさんを騙していたりなんかは絶対にしていないって そう誓えます。
Ditt liv är inte värt så mycket när du är redo att slänga bort det så lätt. Var det okänsligt sagt? Ja, förmodligen. Världens asshole. At that point she makes an awkward frown.
偽名ですけど。
Jag berättar ditt riktiga namn då. Yeah, I know. As someone who's claiming to be all clean and sincere though, that sure gives more than enough cause for suspicion. That alone is reason enough to not fully trust her, in my mind.
名前についてはちょっと訳があるんです。でもそれは後ろ指を刺されるようなことではありません。
It's Häagen-Dazs.
個人的
My
な
name is
都合なんです。
Häagen-Dazs. I see. I nod.
私は自分自身を潔白だと胸を張って主張することができますけど、でもユーマさんがそのような懸念を持っていたというのなら、それなら余計にお仕事の内容を見せちゃってはいけないのではないですか？
Jag tror att jag frågade exakt samma frågor, så det är ju bra att hon frågar nu så vi kanske får ett svar. Yeah, that's a fair question. I have no idea. But remember, I said it was initially wary of you. That doesn't hold anymore.
それはどうしてですか？
Well, I got to know you a bit better over these past few days. And, well, I don't believe you're at all capable of scheming some sort of master plan to deceive me. Ja, du menar bara
どういう
det.
ことですか？それは。
She purses her lips, miffed.
なんだかそれって疑いが晴れたと素直に喜んでいいのか
Be
微妙に
happy.
わかりませんよ。
Yeah, I know. I brightly smile. But anyway, the point is, I don't feel I need to be wary of you anymore. Remember what you asked me in that park after a shopping trip? You asked whether I could liberate you. Take you something far away. You asked whether I could liberate you, take you something far away if you made a request to me. Take you something. Okay, it's gonna stå somewhere. I still owe you an answer to
そ
that.
の答えは
My answer is yes. We liberators aren't allowed to deny a potential client, no matter what reasons or circumstances brought them to us seeking our help. We will never turn them down. That's how we've always operated.
いつだって
Welcome to the coming. Speed departing guests. That's one of our principles. It's Susan's personal creed, you might say.
信念
Right, so if you submit a formal request for us to rescue you, I can guarantee that I, and Susan as well, will do everything in our power to help you.
だから私にお仕事のことを話してくれ
Ja,
た
för han är inte kapabel att hjälpa en vän. Han måste, det är bara business hela tiden. Yeah, that's pretty much it. In retrospect though, maybe my approach was a bit too drastic.
強引ですか？
Well, showing someone what a job of det. Alltså hela den här kanten får det se ut som att det här skulle vara en flashback. Well, showing someone what a job over there is like, without any prior explanation whatsoever, is already pretty insane in its own right. And on top of that, I pushed all the explaining afterwards onto two grown-ups. But yeah, I figured if you were interested in becoming our client, you ought to see what exactly we do.
ありがとうございます。
She slightly cast her eyes down, murmuring a soft but.
まだいろいろと整理しなくてはいけないことはありますけど、
Processing
例
thoughts.
えば私が
Hon är en
ユーマ
robot
さんたち
egentligen.
に何かしらのお仕事を依頼したとして、
Yeah.
報酬はいりますよね。
Well, yeah. Sorry, but we're not doing this for fun. It's first and foremost our job. We can't take our action unless we receive physical compensation. Okej, men jag tror att det här är en flashback. Det är därför hon håller på att prata om att hon måste tjäna massa pengar. Jag tror bara att jag missade den detaljen, vilket det var nog ganska uppenbart kanske. We can't take action unless we receive physical compensation. I know it may seem heartless to you, but we're not running a charity. Okej, du ska inte ta betalt för att du räddade hennes liv då. No matter what the request, as long as the client came to us for a reason, we can only say yes. Turning people down is not an option. What I'm about to say might sound like it contradicts that, I realize. But there's still just too much distance between Kana and us. Too much of a rift for any sort of philanthropy to be considered. It has nothing to do with trust or distrust. It's a simple matter of the depth of our relationship. The intangible connection bonding two people. for that reason. We can't do something as rash as undertaking a request for free right now. The client and the contractor. We have to form a strictly business relationship of that nature.
でも今の私は見ての通り、自分の身の回りのものも買えない状態で。
Musingly, I mutter right, then ponder shortly. Jag vet inte vart hennes föräldrar är alltså. Det är någon familj, någonting. Jag tror hon har pratat om det tidigare, kanske, men I have a bit of a suggestion, if you're interested. For how you could pay us. Saying it creepy nu. We'll have you pay us by taking care of our needs.
バカ。そんな言い方するやつがあるかよ。
Okej, det var meningen. Det var meningen att det skulle låta creepy, men att det inte var creepy. Okay. What's so wrong with it? She bashfully presses her hands against her bosom, squirming around as she speaks. Kana?
シュヤにしてはまだ日が高いっていうか、その。
And that is when I realized my poorly inadequate choice of words. And that is when I realized the writers are bad at writing scripts. Sorry, I should have phrased that differently.
今日の下着はちゃんとしたものでしたでしょうか。
Alltså, jag förstår att det här är liksom... Jag förstår att det här ändå är en stor del av Wish Novels för det mesta. Det får dem att sälja bättre. Så att, whatever. Hello, Earth to Kana! She cocks her head in severe confusion. Please, Kana, look. I'm sorry for that mistake, so could you please do me a favor and listen to me right now? Det är där jag ändå gillar, vad heter det, Meet Your World Actor, för den har varit liksom... Meet Your World Actor har varit ganska vuxet skriven. Men... jag tycker det är konstigt att det liksom så här... Det är ändå liksom, det är menat att du ska vara 18 plus för att spela de här, men ändå så kan det liksom stundvis vara väldigt sån här cringy dialog. De gör liksom det här för vuxna, men jag tror bara att jag är fel målgrupp för att gilla det här. She blushes from ear to ear and squirms around like a worm. Jag älskar visual novels liksom, men såna här grejer hade jag gärna kunnat skippat. But what are you talking about? High libido. Can you please let me explain? By our needs, I didn't mean anything sexual. I meant doing chores. Yeah. Okay, det var ganska kul ändå. Yeah, so stuff like cleaning and laundry. I'm asking if you want to take care of that stuff for us. And as compensation for your manual labor, I'll give you a small allowance. Well, that sounds a bit condescending. So how about a small salary? Oh, and hey, that also mean you wouldn't just be wearing that maid outfit for show anymore. Men vad fan. Jag önskar bara hon kunde ta av den någon gång. She couldn't hide her bewilderment. Yeah, sure. I think it's a pretty fair arrangement. Domestic chores are pretty physically demanding. You'd be surprised. And if you have to do those every day, strictly speaking, I'm the one who's in charge of scheduling Susan's jobs, negotiating payments and whatnot. So it should be alright for me to decide on the method of payment. She smiles a bit teasingly. Well, you are right. She still holds the final say.
Hi.
Well, don't worry. Knowing her, I'm sure she'll say yes. Kana? Her head is hung and she looks like lost in thought about something. What's wrong, you alright?
はい、大丈夫です。ただ、私がユーマさんに依頼したいお仕事は、今日説明していただいたお仕事のあちら側やこちら側、その どちらの両分とも言えるし、またはそう
Det
で
skulle ju
もない
underlätta
と
om
も
du kunde
言える
berätta
もの
lite
なんで
mer
す。
om dig själv till att börja med. Oh, really?
はい、とてもとても微妙な線の上に立っている問題なんじゃないかって私は思うんです。だけど、すみません。今の私にはこれ以上の上手な説明ができないんです。言葉が足りないというか、何と伝えればいいのかわからないというか。ごめんなさい。こんなことじゃ依頼云々以前の問題ですよね。
It should be fine.
でも
Huh?
でも、もしも許されることなら、私はユーマさんに私の心にべったりと張り付いた不自由をきれいに切り取ってもらいたいと、そう願ってます。私を自由にしてほしい。
Jag tycker det är kul att jag sitter och dricker min jävla festis nu.
遠くへ逃がしてほしい。これまで私が暮らしてきたあの場所の束縛から、そのためにユーマさん、遠い昔に約束してくれたみたいに、もしも魔法使いさんのあなたが私のために優しく魔法を使ってくれるなら、
Det här känns ju definitivt som slutet utav
と
chapter
て
3.
もとても力強いことだと思ったんです。
The promise I made to you.
はい、約束です。
About that. What exactly did I swear to her all those years ago? I want to ask her about the nature of this promise. But I can't bring myself to. I remember nothing about my promise with her. Nothing in the slightest. But there is that dream I keep seeing. A voice calls out to me, pleading for me to save them. Everything I see is white, and they then say to me, it's a promise. To me, or perhaps to the past me that existed on that day. A promise. Right, I made a promise to them. Both to Khan and to the person whispering to me in my dream. I can't deny that I'm trying to draw connections between the two in my mind. I beg of you, please save us. Maybe it's a plea from my subconscious mind to my conscious mind. To convince it to recall the events of that day. Or maybe there's an entirely different reason behind it. Well, either way. There's no way. Jag fattar inte varför vissa grejer är så här som att han tänker, men han tänker ju allting redan. Det är jätteskumt. Either way, there's no way I can start asking someone questions based on things I see in some vague fuzzy dreams. They'd think I'm crazy. Ja, fast du har redan visat att du typ kan magi och grejer. And that is assuming I can even find the right word to adequately describe it. Om hon vet redan att du är en magiker, varför skulle det vara så konstigt att liksom, du kanske drömmer om saker också? That's just how dreams work, I think.
夏目さんは
Huh?
夏目さん、引き受けてくれるでしょうか。私
Well, probably. You should be fine, as long as you're sincere when you make your case to her. I can't see why she'd refuse. Also, in the small off chance, the astronomically small off chance that some problem arises and Susan can't take a request, I'd be willing to take it on personally.
ユーマさんが個人的に
Sure. That being said, I'm still only an apprentice. I've never done a solo job before, so your request might end up being my first. Therefore, the only question then would be whether or not you're okay with leaving your request in the hands of someone who's entirely lacking in experience.
そんな未熟だなんて。
Alright, so here will be our plan. Once you saved up enough money for your work here to pay us in full, we'll officially take on your request. Sounds good?
はい。
Varför gör ni bara inte det nu? Jag förstår att ni behöver ha pengar, men she nods with
嬉し
glee.
いです。本当に。
Kan ni inte fixa en avbetalningsplan? I will have you fill us in on all the details when the time comes. And by that, I mean a full, coherent explanation from A to C. Nothing omitted. From A to Z. That means you have to come clean about the fake name and the reason why you jumped off the guardrail of the lighthouse that night. Yeah, exact. Also, this supposed promise between us, and yes, I know the onus should be on me to remember.
それは
We won't ask you any questions until we officially take on your request. When we enter into a proper client contractor relationship. That fine by you?
はい。わかりました。
She tightly clasps one of my hands. What?
ありが とうございます。
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. She smiles warmly.
私、実を言うと結構ピンチだったんです。
Pinchy? Huh?
でも私は本当にたくさんの人たちに助けられました。そして今度はユーマさんに。
Well, we still don't know if I'll be able to save you or not.
それでもいいんです。今日は一歩前進させていただいたように思います。
Oh.
私、ユーマさんに私の願いを叶えてもらえるようになるまで頑張りますね。
Alright.
そして私との約束を思い出してもらえるまで。
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Could I maybe just throw in the towel now and get you to tell me everything?
ダメですよ。忘れっぽいユーマさんには教えてあげ。
She smiles a bit teasingly.
私が依頼料を貯めるまで考えておいてくださいね。一緒に
Okay, I'll try.
そしてもしも完璧に思い出せて。
Then what?
そうですね。一緒にお風呂に入るとか。
Pass.
もう
She puffs up her cheeks peevishly.
ちなみに
de som har översatt det här älskar att använda ordet peevishly.
どれくらい働けばいいんでしょうか。どれくらい寮のお仕事をこなせば必要な報酬額に達します。
How about we do an individual task
小遣
system?
い制？それ
Cleaning the bathroom, 10 yen. Wow. Washing the dishes, 3 yen. You can save up little by little. 10 yen är inte ens 1 krona för övrigt.
小学生みたいです。
I mean, I'm not actually going to use those numbers. I was just illustrating how the system would work.
もう一つ教えてください。
What's that?
逃がし屋さんへの依頼料の相場です。
It generally depends on the kind of request, but usually about 10 million yen, give or take a bit.
それ一体何年かかるんですか？
Well, just be patient with it. Alltså det här är jätteskumt, men
ひ
okej.
どく悠長な話ですよ、これは。
Well, keep in mind, this is market standard we're talking about. Your case is a bit special, so it probably won't end up being that much. But it depends on what Suzu-san determines.
なんだか目標設定額に到達するまでにおばあちゃんになってしまいそうです。
What's bad about that? Well, okay. I admit that probably would be bad. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is take it slow and steady.
私、そんなに時間はありませんよ。
Well, anyway, once you save up the money, we'll take on your request. In the meantime, I'll start thinking about those things you had trouble explaining to me today. That way, when the time comes, you'll be able to give us a good detailed explanation. När den time comes så har hon redan glömt bort det här.
わかりました。
Så det kommer mer eller mindre hålla henne som en slav här i flera år.
ユーマさん、
Kanske lite grim. What is it?
ありがとう。
Jag vet
ござい
inte.
ます。
Han borde snarare be dig om ursäkt. With that, the corners of her mouth slowly rises, a modest smile forms on her face. All right. That concludes my brief recap. Brief. I stand next to Kana, who's still hard at work on the dishes, and look at her. Wow.
何が意外ですか？
You haven't broken a single plate at all. My bad if I was mistaken, but I've been under the impression that you're kind of a klutz. Do you remember a few days ago when I was making dinner? I think you said something along the lines of, if I were doing this, I would have broken about 1 or 2 plates already.
そうだったでしょうか。というか、ユーマさんはそういう細かいことはちゃんと覚えてるんですね。
She purses her lips, very evidently bitter about that.
と言いますか。もしかしてそれを心配していたから、さっきからずっと私の横に立っているんですか？
Guilty. Yeah, pretty much. I was afraid you'd drop the plates and they'd crash all over the floor.
さすがにそんなわけありませんよ。 私は掃除洗濯は大得意なんですから。
Oh, really now? Kana is good at housework. Let's make a mental note of that.
はい、お掃除もお洗濯もお料理と同じくらい得意なんです。
I'll just pretend I didn't hear that.
何がですか？
Nothing. Just talking to myself. Sometimes ignorance truly is bliss. For example, being convinced that you're exceptional at something that you're actually irredeemably terrible at. Quite a bitter pill to swallow.
ユーマさん、
Ah.
最後にもう一つだけ質問をしてもいいでしょうか？
Varför tystnar musiken? Sure. What do you want to know?
神様の世界、最果ての古書店です。その場所には生きた人間は誰も行けないんですよね。それならどうして夏目さんはあんなに神様の世界について詳しいんですか？
Well,
それは
remember she's a crazy bookworm. It's probably just because of that. The amount of knowledge stowed away inside her head is endless, so it's probably only natural that she knows a thing or two about it.
そんなものでしょうか？
Yeah, more than likely. Du ljuger nu, va? Irrespective of her reading habits, it's an undeniable fact that living people are being whisked away to some far-off location. And that place is what we're searching for. The place of my dream. The place where that voice calls to me. At least, I think they're the same place. Earlier today, as you recall, we did everything in our power to relocate our client Shigeru-san located to the storm, and shelter her here. That's essentially what all our jobs over there consist of.
でも今日の依頼者さん、あの子は途中で走るのを諦めた。
I nod. She chose to protect her world, the world that her family lives in. The girl's parents were the ones that made the initial request to us. Please save our daughter. With that in mind, we can't discount the possibility that the girl had her mind set from the onset of things. Maybe securing a future for her world was more important to her than her own life. You're probably wondering why we shelter them here. This storm is a central point of intersection, a sort of non-interference zone that lies outside the vision of the great library of the beyond, from what I've been told at least.
らしいですか？
Yeah, I only have a surface level understanding of it basically. Personally, the cause doesn't interest me so much as the effect. The how and why, that line between, don't really do much to rouse my curiosity. There is a cause which gives rise to an effect. It's as simple as that. Even if I ascertain the underlying logic and principles behind a phenomenon, it would still remain impossible for me to change both the cause and the effect. I guess that stuff doesn't really matter right now. It's unwise to brood over things you'll never understand on your own. But yeah, I'm glad I learned about your surprising adeptness at household chores, Todd. Uh-oh. We both look at one another. Well, I suppose I jinxed it for you. Okej, är det en ny chapter nu? Jag vet inte. Känns som att det skulle vara en ny chapter. Eller? Det känns som att det här potentiellt är slutet på varenda chapter dock. Det kanske slutar, för jag tror att jag har slutat så här förut, och då har det liksom varit så här precis innan nästa chapter, eller? Jag vet inte. Vi ska ta och runda av här i alla fall. Så jag får tacka så mycket för att ni har tittat, så hörs vi igen i nästa avsnitt. Tills dess, ha det bra, tack och hej!